Cincinnati Bengals defensive end Trey Hendrickson has requested a trade. The Detroit Lions have been in the market to add a pass rusher to work opposite Aiden Hutchinson. Here to discuss whether or not Hendrickson is a realistic option for the Lions is Lions on SI publisher John Macaroon. John, I'm curious, what do you think about the Lions' chances of acquiring Trey Hendrickson?
What a bombshell, huh? I think that the Detroit Lions fans definitely got excited, myself included. Trey Hendrickson, I think, is a maybe possible realistic option for the Lions. Now, what is it going to cost? Here's the dilemma, though, in regards to Trey Hendrickson. When you look at a player of his caliber, I think that part of the reason he, worked hard to try to get an extension with the Bengals is the fact that he wants market value. He's a player that's recorded 17 and a half sacks last year, among the sack leaders, and he's a player that wants to cash in. And then you see the deal that Max Crosby got. So he wants to break the bank, and he wants to be able to, over the next couple years, secure his future. So with the Detroit Lions allocating funds to their own free agents and still needing to sign Aiden Hutchinson, Kirby Joseph, and potential other free agents externally, you recognize it's going to be a tall task. But the positives, when you see what he could bring to the table, potentially a player that can really get take attention from the opposing offensive line, could draw double teams, could also be somebody that when Aiden Hutchinson is gaining some extra attention, could also get to the quarterback. And he is an individual that can wreak havoc for any defensive line. I just think that he's going to command a lot of attention on the market. It's not every day that a player like Trey Hendrickson is going to be available. So I do think that there's going to be a bidding war. There's going to be the issue at hand is going to be potentially the Lions could work out a trade for Hendrickson. The issue at hand, Christian, is going to be working out an extension that's going to be necessarily for 2 or 3 years at maybe north of $30 million. Maybe he's not going to want to top off the market because he's 31, but when you've come off the year that he's had, he's going to be seeking top dollar. And I just don't know. I just think that it's a dream scenario for everybody involved. Could you sign Aiden Hutchinson for north of 35 and then sign Trey Hendrickson for 30 and then sign Kirby Joseph for a massive extension as well? It just seems tough. So while it's a dream scenario, I just find it difficult to imagine, especially coming on the heels of Brad Holmes saying probably not when asked directly, could you add another high-priced, option out there? But Trey Hendrickson fits. There's a lot of good things. Don't you see the potential as well for him to line up next to DJ Reader if he stays on the roster, and Aiden Hutchinson, Ali McNeil? I think he could be a final piece for a team in 2025 and 26 making a push. I think that he'd be a great, maybe great option because of his familiarity with Dan Campbell.
100%. I think that if you're able to make that move, if you're the Lions, you have one of the best edge rushing tandems in the entire league between Aiden Hutchinson and Trey Hendrickson. The problem is the cap hits that this team is set to take on starting with the 2026 season when you talk about the extension signed by Jared Goff and Penei Sewell and Amon-Ra St. Brown and potentially more on the horizon with guys like Hutchinson and Jamison Williams and Kirby Joseph, then this cap situation becomes a big dilemma. And while the salary cap will likely continue to increase as the league continues to generate revenue, I just think that the Lions are going to have a hard time handing out so many high-priced contracts, and they've got to make tough decisions as it is. And I think that if you were to add a player like Hendrickson, then you're talking about pricing yourself out of keeping 1 or 2 valuable pieces of your team. So I think that while it's a nice potential scenario for Detroit, I just don't see it as super realistic right now. And that's unfortunate because, like you said, it is a dream scenario. But we'll just have to see. And things are starting to heat up as free agency begins on Monday. So this is a very intriguing offseason for the Lions, and it would only get better if they were able to make a move like this.